Before we begin, I need you to listen very carefully, because what I'm about to say might change the way you see her forever. The most dangerous moment in a relationship isn't when she walks away. It's when she silently decides you matter more than you realize, and you don't even notice it happening. If you've ever felt confused by her behavior, if you've ever wondered, is she serious about me, or am I just another option? Then this video is going to hit deeper than you expect. But before we go further, take 1 second, subscribe to the channel and like this video, because what you're about to understand, most men never do, and that's exactly why they lose women who are ready to love them for real. Now listen closely. Women don't fall in love the way men think they do. It's not loud, it's not obvious, and it's definitely not something she announces. A woman falling in love is subtle, controlled, almost hidden, and if you don't recognize the signs early, you'll misread her, pull away, or worse, treat her casually when she's already emotionally invested. And that's when things break. The first sign she's falling in love with you is not what you expect. It's not about what she says, it's about what she stops doing. A woman who isn't serious keeps her options open. She keeps conversations shallow. She protects her time. But when she starts falling for you, something shifts quietly. She becomes intentional. She starts prioritizing you, without making a big deal about it. You'll notice she replies differently, not faster, but with more thought. Her words carry weight. She remembers small details about you, things even you forget mentioning. And it's not effort she's forcing, it's attention she can't help giving. And here's what most men miss. She becomes emotionally consistent. No more hot and cold games, no more disappearing acts. You start to feel a pattern in her presence. She shows up, again and again, not perfectly, but reliably. That's not casual interest. That's emotional investment beginning to grow. But this is where it gets dangerous for you. Because when a woman starts investing like this, she's also watching you, measuring you, deciding if you're someone she can trust with what she's slowly starting to feel. And if you don't recognize it, if you treat her like she's just passing time, you won't lose her immediately. You'll lose her quietly. There's something else you need to understand, and most men completely overlook it. When a woman begins to fall in love with you, she doesn't just move closer. She lowers her guard in ways that feel almost invisible unless you know what to watch for. A woman who isn't emotionally invested keeps things controlled. She filters her thoughts. She avoids showing too much. But when she starts trusting you with her feelings, her conversations change. She opens up. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gradually, like someone testing the depth of water before stepping in. She begins to share things that actually matter to her. Her fears, her past, the things that shaped her. And here's the key. She doesn't do this for attention. She does it because she feels safe with you. And safety is the foundation of love for a woman. You'll notice she starts telling you stories she doesn't tell everyone else. She lets you see her imperfections. She stops trying to appear perfect around you. That's not comfort. That's emotional exposure. And emotional exposure is always a risk. So when she takes that risk with you, it means something real is building inside her. But here's where many men make a critical mistake. They hear her, but they don't actually listen. They respond casually, they joke it off, they change the subject. And in that moment, she feels it. She feels whether you're someone she can go deeper with, or someone she has to pull back from. Because when a woman starts opening her inner world to you, she's not just talking, she's offering you access, and access is earned. Another sign she's falling in love is that she becomes curious about your world in a deeper way. Not just what you do, but why you do it. She wants to understand your mindset, your struggles, your goals. She studies you, not in a controlling way, but in a way that shows she's imagining a future where you matter more than just the present moment. She asks questions that feel different, more intentional, more personal. She's trying to connect dots, to see if your life and her life can align without forcing it. And here's the part most men underestimate. When a woman is emotionally invested, she doesn't just want your attention. She wants your truth. She's not impressed by perfection. She's not chasing performance. She's looking for something deeper. Consistency between who you say you are and who you actually are. And if she starts to see that alignment in you, her feelings won't just grow. They'll deepen in a way that's very hard to undo. Now, I want you to pay close attention, because this is where things become unmistakable, but only if you're aware enough to see it. When a woman starts falling in love with you, her behavior around you starts to change in social situations. This is one of the clearest psychological shifts, yet most men completely miss it because they assume it's just how she is. It's not. A woman who is emotionally detached will treat you the same in public as she treats everyone else. But when she starts developing real feelings, she becomes subtly different around you when other people are present. She starts to position herself closer to you, not aggressively, not obviously, but naturally. In a group setting, you'll notice her body orientation shifts toward you. Her attention returns to you even when she's talking to others. It's almost like her awareness keeps pulling back to your presence without her consciously trying. And this is important, because the mind always follows emotional attachment. Another sign is how she reacts when other women are around you. She may not say anything directly, but her energy changes. She becomes more attentive, more engaged, sometimes even slightly protective of her connection with you. Not in a toxic way, but in a way that reveals she sees you differently now. Because in her mind, you are no longer just a guy she knows. You are becoming her person. And this shift changes everything internally for her. She will also start to include you in her future thinking, even in small ways. She might say things like, "You should come here with me someday," or "You would like this place." These are not random statements. They are mental projections of shared experiences. She is rehearsing a future with you inside it. But here is what makes this stage so emotionally dangerous for both of you. She is not fully aware of how deep she is going yet. Her feelings are growing faster than her logic can explain. That's why she may still act normal on the surface, while internally becoming more attached each day. And if you don't match her emotional direction, if you stay inconsistent or unclear, she won't fight you for clarity. She will slowly detach to protect herself. Because a woman in love doesn't chase confusion, she withdraws from it. So if you're noticing these shifts, don't ignore them. Don't dismiss them as coincidence. Because what you're actually witnessing is emotional alignment beginning to form, quietly but powerfully. And once it reaches a certain point, it stops being just interest. It becomes attachment. There's a moment in every woman's emotional journey where things stop being casual and start becoming personal in a way she can't easily undo. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it completely. When she starts falling in love, her emotional availability toward you increases in ways that don't always look romantic at first. It looks like concern, like care, like consistency. She starts checking in on you, not because she has to, but because she genuinely wants to know how you are when she's not around. She notices your moods more quickly. She picks up on changes in your tone, and she responds to your emotional state with a kind of sensitivity that feels almost instinctive. That's not coincidence. That's emotional bonding forming. A woman who is not attached will respond to you, but she won't track you emotionally. She won't mentally carry you through her day. But when she starts developing real feelings, you begin to exist in her thoughts even when you're not present. She wonders if you're okay. She wonders what you're doing. She wonders what you meant by certain things you said earlier. And she doesn't always tell you this, but she feels it deeply. Another powerful sign is how she starts making emotional space for you. She begins to adjust her life slightly around your presence, not in a controlling way, but in a natural prioritization shift. She finds time where she didn't used to have it. She becomes more flexible when it comes to you. Things that once felt important to her suddenly feel less rigid when it involves you. And this is where her feelings become real, not imagined. Because people don't rearrange emotional priorities for someone they don't value. But here's the part you need to understand deeply. She will never make it obvious that she is doing this. A woman in love protects her vulnerability by making her care look normal. She will say she's just being nice, or that she's just checking in. But internally, something much deeper is happening. She is attaching meaning to your presence in her life, and when meaning gets attached, feelings grow roots. You may also notice she becomes more emotionally responsive to your words. Things you say that seem small to you affect her more than they should. A compliment stays with her longer. A distance feels heavier than it used to. A delay in your reply creates thoughts she won't admit out loud. Because now, you are not just someone she interacts with, you are someone she emotionally reacts to. And once that line is crossed, she is no longer simply interested. She is invested. Now this is where things become very real, and also very easy to misunderstand if you don't know what you're looking at. When a woman is falling in love, her emotional boundaries begin to shift. Not disappear, but soften. And that softening is one of the strongest indicators that something deeper is forming. She starts letting you see her in unfiltered moments, the version of her that is tired, the version of her that is stressed, the version of her that doesn't feel perfect or polished or together. A woman who is not emotionally attached will protect those versions of herself from you, but a woman who is falling in love stops hiding them as much, because she starts to believe you won't use them against her. And that belief is everything. You'll also notice something very subtle but powerful. She becomes more emotionally honest in real time. She stops rehearsing every sentence. She stops over-editing her thoughts. She begins to speak to you in a way that feels more natural, more direct, more human. That shift only happens when comfort turns into trust, and trust begins turning into emotional dependence. Another key sign is how she reacts when you are unavailable. A woman who has no attachment will simply move on with her day. But when she is emotionally invested, your absence creates a subtle emotional gap she feels but doesn't always understand. She may not complain, she may not confront you, but she notices. And in that silence, her mind starts filling the space with thoughts about you. This is where emotional attachment grows strongest, in your absence, not your presence. She also begins to seek emotional reassurance from you in indirect ways. She might not ask, "Do you care about me?" directly. Instead, she will test emotional safety through small signals. She pays attention to how you respond when she is vulnerable. She observes whether you stay consistent when she opens up. Because she is not just looking for attention, she is looking for emotional stability. And if she finds it in you, she starts to lean into it more. But here's something most men completely underestimate. A woman in love doesn't always want constant excitement. She wants emotional predictability with depth. She wants to know that you are not just present when things are easy, but still emotionally there when things are quiet, normal, or even slightly uncomfortable. That's when her attachment deepens. And if you handle her emotions with maturity, if you stay grounded instead of reactive, something powerful begins to happen inside her. She stops seeing you as temporary and starts quietly placing you in the category of serious. There is a stage in a woman's emotional development where everything becomes quieter on the surface, but far more intense underneath. And if you're not emotionally intelligent enough to notice it, you might assume she's pulling away, when in reality, she's falling deeper. When a woman starts to love you, her need for constant validation decreases, but her need for emotional connection increases. That sounds contradictory, but it's not. She stops chasing reassurance from you in obvious ways, because she starts trusting the emotional bond itself. But at the same time, she becomes more sensitive to emotional distance. That's the paradox. She won't always ask for attention, but she will feel its absence more sharply than before. You'll notice she becomes more selective with her energy. She doesn't open up to just anyone anymore. She becomes protective of what she shares, but at the same time, more intentional with you. When she talks to you, there is more depth, more presence, more emotional weight behind her words. It's not small talk anymore. It's emotional connection disguised as conversation. Another powerful sign is how she begins to support you in subtle but meaningful ways. Not necessarily big gestures, but consistent emotional encouragement. She believes in your goals more visibly. She remembers what matters to you. She brings up your ambitions in a way that shows she is mentally invested in your growth. Because when a woman loves you, She doesn't just want your attention, she wants your life to improve. She becomes emotionally aligned with your direction. And here's something you must understand carefully. She starts evaluating your character more deeply than your charm. She is no longer impressed by surface-level confidence alone. She is watching how you handle pressure, how you handle disappointment, how you treat people when there is nothing to gain. These are the things that begin to shape her emotional security with you. And if you remain stable, if you remain consistent, if you remain emotionally grounded, her attachment strengthens quietly. But if you become inconsistent, emotionally reactive or unpredictable, she doesn't argue. She recalibrates her feelings, slowly, silently. Because a woman in love is not just feeling you, she is studying whether you are emotionally safe to keep feeling. And this is where many relationships either deepen into something real or begin their quiet decline. Not because of a lack of love, but because of a lack of emotional safety. Now we arrive at the most important part, the stage where everything you've been observing either turns into something real or quietly fades away without drama. When a woman is truly falling in love with you, she doesn't just behave differently, she becomes emotionally anchored to you in ways that are not easy to reverse. But this anchoring is delicate. It is built on consistency, emotional safety, and how you make her feel about herself when she is with you. One of the final signs is emotional prioritization. You begin to matter in her decision-making process, even when you are not physically present. She starts considering how her choices affect the connection between you, not in a controlling way, but in a relational way. She doesn't want to lose what she is building with you, so she starts aligning her actions with that emotional investment. And this is very different from casual interest. Casual interest does not adapt. Love does. You'll also notice she becomes more emotionally patient with you. Small misunderstandings that might have bothered her before no longer trigger immediate withdrawal. Instead, she tries to understand. She gives space for explanation. She doesn't rush to assume the worst because she has already built emotional context for you. That context is everything. Because when a woman has no emotional attachment, she interprets behavior quickly and leaves just as quickly. But when she is in love, she interprets behavior through connection, not assumption. Another deep sign is that she starts to emotionally stay with you during silence. Even when you are not talking, there is a sense that she hasn't emotionally left the connection. She is still there in thought, still invested in the bond, still subtly connected to the dynamic between you. And here is the truth most men never hear clearly enough. When a woman is falling in love, she is not asking you to be perfect. She is asking you to be emotionally reliable. Not overwhelming, not confusing, not inconsistent, reliable. Because reliability creates safety, and safety creates attachment, and attachment is where love grows roots. But if you are inconsistent with her emotions, if you confuse her more than you connect with her, she will not fight for clarity forever. She will slowly detach to protect her emotional balance. So if you recognize these signs in her, don't play games with them. Don't assume she will always stay in that emotional space without effort from you. Because love is not just something she feels, it is something she protects. And whether it grows into something serious or disappears quietly depends on how you respond when you finally realize you are being trusted with it.